Hello again, and I wanted to talk to you some more about this Feliche wallet. It's really a wallet on chain. This is the one that is the World Tour series. And I didn't mention in the last video why I particularly wanted this one. To be honest with you, it's the red interior. That's what made me like it. I think at the time, or if you get it with just the canvas, it does have a beautiful burgundy, and I believe they call it a certain kind of pink. It's a fuchsia, duh. Anyway, it's a fuchsia color, but to me it looks like a burgundy. It's very beautiful. I just really like the red pop. It's just a personal taste. So that was probably the #1 reason I wanted this. The pattern did grow on me some. I get a little bit nervous with it painted on, even though with Louis Vuitton products, my understanding is there's less chipping than in other brands, and that it will stay on quite well. The thing that I do with this bag, and I didn't mention in the other one, is that a lot of times I carry this bag in a larger bag. For instance, today I'm carrying my Speedy 30 to work, and so this Feliche, I hope I'm saying this correctly, will fit nicely into my bag. However, I don't like to stick it in the bag without it first being in its dust bag, because I just really want to avoid it getting scratched up. So I will put it in that and then have it in there. Then I can have my wallet on chain. Another thing I wanted to show you, snap easily opens and closes. Here it is with all the contents that it normally comes with. So the 2 wallets that I had shown you in the last video, but if you haven't seen it yet, then it's this zipped pouch as well as this flat wallet, which I love. I've been into the thinner wallets. I have a zippy wallet, which I love and I use, and then I like the Emily a little better, and I use it a little bit more, and that Emily is substantially thinner in width. It's not as wide, and I like that. But so when I have this, I like it even more, and it just, again, all the options that you have with it. And then the only other thing I have in there is the chain, which can sit nicely in there, or as I showed you in the last video, you can take it off completely. And I'm going to do that now because it's quite clinky if you hitting the table like this. But the chain is so lightweight, and I love that also. So here we have the slip pocket in the main compartment there, and you'll have a place for the 1 wallet, and that's what it looks like there. So it takes half the space, and then the other one like so. And I did want to show you, this is just an iPhone 6, but I wanted to show you that it also fits nicely in there, and then you can close it easy. Now I keep having to tuck this in. You could leave it out, it's kind of cute, but I always like to leave it in. It does take up the space. You'll see there's a little space right here. So let me see if I could add maybe a chapstick or a lipstick or something. Here's a little chapstick, and I'm just going to stick that in on the side, and then that also works. Easy. I don't see it stretched out or any kind of malfunction with it at all. I was wondering if we could try the keys, because you're going to have your keys with you most of the time. And currently this is what I carry my keys on. And so what I would do for sure is to take off every key that I didn't need. Because first of all, the way this is set up, if I put all my keys in, something has to go. So I would take off all of my, I would just do this. I would just take my car key and either just stick it inside, which it would easily do, and then I'm good. The other thing that I would want to have with me are tissues, and I would just take a couple of tissues out of the packet and stick it in the very back to protect it. But let me see if I can do that without causing too much dissension there. So since that tissue doesn't take much room, then you can fit that in there too. So it really is a bag. It's a little bit deceiving. It's obviously a small clutch, but it's one that's versatile and you can hold quite a bit with it. And what I found happens with my limited experience with this is also an experience that my dear friend Jackie has gone through. And by the way, I got this in New York. She took a train to meet me, and I know it wasn't easy, and I got to meet her and her mother. And Jackie is a person who we had been friends over a bag, incidentally, years ago, and we would visit on mostly texting, but through our computers. And anyway, it was just like we never got to meet face to face, and she was very sweet to meet me when I went to New York, and I love that so much. And it's just, I knew she was always a special person, but now I'm totally convinced. And then after I bought this, I didn't realize that she had one, and she had given me a lot of good ideas too. And one of the things she said, this has also been my experience, is that she will take, usually what ends up happening is that because she'll take this out by itself so often, and the wallets take up so much room, she has a tendency to not carry the wallets in this at all. And so I wanted to show you what else could fit in here that I found that was helpful. Of course, you're going to need your phone. And let's pretend I want to take more of my keys. It makes me a little uncomfortable that they're not connected. I would probably, that they're just hanging free like that. So I probably want to stick it inside. Okay, so it's going to be safe in there. So I'm going to try my keys, and I just try to stand this up inside, but it's not going to close. It just sticks up a little bit too much. So that's not a good idea. It'll have to be on its side there, which is fine. But these pouches, as we know, or these key fobs, are really helpful. You could take all of your credit cards, debit cards, and some cash, fold that up, and just stick it in there. You know this will hold quite a bit. Probably wouldn't need the little chain that comes out of it. And I'm going to see if it'll stick inside. And it doesn't want to, there's not room for them side by side without an overlap. So it's going to look something like that. I hope you can see this. I know it keeps falling out, doesn't it? I'm basically just playing with different ideas. I wanted you to see what all could fit into this bag besides the two little wallets. What I usually carry is one of these with one key in it, and then my credit cards and things. So that would go in there. And then any makeup, I would keep that free. Like, here's my powder, and I could also use that as a mirror. By the way, this is just a MAC pressed select sheer. Have no idea even what it was on it, because on the back it's all ripped off. So I am no makeup guru, am I? Don't even know what I'm using here. But anyway, the pressed powder goes in there. This does not want to stay in, but I'm gonna keep trying. And then you would have room for, you have this whole, it looks like, oh gosh, a good 2 inches of open space. So here is just a little Coach wallet that would be similar. It's a little smaller, certainly in width, than like the Zippy wallet. I just don't have the Zippy wallet anymore. And you could stick that in. I think, I know it'd be easier if you could see this. It doesn't go sideways like that, so we'd have to push it in. It gets a little bit challenging, but it's actually doable. And then one thing, this is a little bit out of shape now, so probably something needs to give. And I would definitely say, because this little guy could hold your money and things, I would stick with that. And I would definitely want a little makeup, and I would definitely want a chapstick and another lip product that would fit here. And then I think I'm good to go. The other thing though that I often want with me are my glasses, and I carry them, I realize, but I have a prescription sunglasses also. And I'm just going to take them out of its case there, and I just want to see if it'll like lay on top here. Because it's fairly cushioned in there, because this canvas is pretty thick, I'm actually comfortable in doing that. So now I've got money with me, my keys because I downsized my keys, tissues because I downsized that, and I have a little, just the basic of the cosmetics, and now my glasses. And I think it seemed like there was one other thing that, oh yes, a lot of times I want a lotion, and I would just probably find an even smaller container to put that in to have it fit. Sometimes like at Target you'll see little hand lotions that are just really tiny, and you could stick that in easily. And then there would also be room for a hand sanitizer, so you'd pretty much be covered with just this. So these items could be used to hold other things, maybe your document, or maybe a passport, or maybe coupons. It could be used to hold receipts that you want to, if you have things to come back, to take back. Loyalty cards, I think it's endless what it can do. And then here's another pouch that could hold either the same items, or gesture change, or any miscellaneous things that you might want to hold. I think charging cables would be good in here. Anything that's not going to be, that you want to find quickly and that's not going to be so compressed. I really think you could use this as a pencil pouch too if you wanted to. It's just endless what you can do, which is what I love. Anyway, I hope I haven't exhausted you too much showing you everything that would fit into this bag. But for today, my purpose is, because I'm taking a larger bag, I'm going to be most comfortable with carrying these two items here, and probably just those two. My phone will either be in my pocket or just easier access, since I'm going to have this in its dust bag. I don't plan to use this. Now, I had shown you in the last video modeling shots using this beautiful chain that comes with it. And I had shown you just briefly what it looks like with the Eva clutch. And by the way, since some of you have experienced the Eva clutch, this is it in comparison if I held it up in the front and on the side at the same width, although this has more girth because it has more give. There it is on the back, which is hard to tell, the front and the bottom. And I had shown you what this chain looked like with the Eva clutch, which is just stunning, and it actually has a better length. But I wanted to show you this. Now Nicholas, I told you, is this fabulous sales associate there, and there was another one too. She was super sweet, and she actually, this was at the Louis Vuitton store, she gave me samples of their perfume and was just so patient and sweet with me. I just can't get over that whole experience. It was just amazing. But back to Nicholas, who helped me get this Feliche. He showed me, since I had my Eva with me, he said take your Eva strap and use that instead. So if you want a more casual look, you could use that. So I wanted to show you what that looked like. And I think it's fine. I mean, again, it's lower, but I'm kind of used to that. I had mentioned I'm 5'2". This is with, obviously, the Damier Ebin, so it has the dark strap, but I think it looks nice with this canvas. For this particular bag, I think it looks nice. And I don't know, I don't have a strap like this that is in the regular vachetta that goes with the monogram to look at, but I'm sure it looks really nice. I'm sure if you have a thicker strap that's the same pattern as this monogram, I think that would also be fine. But now I want to show you something else. I want to go back, if I can, to the gold chain, because I started playing around. Sometimes I might want to have a pochette with me. The pochette wanted to show you. This is an older model pochette, and I can prove it because it's with the Stephen Sprouse art on it. And this was for my daughter who loves roses, and incidentally my mother did too. So when I got this, it was for her to have. But my this one daughter of mine is just not into bags and into this brand. So more for me, I guess. But I'm gonna hang on to it just in case she ever changes her mind. She likes real vintage things, so this is becoming that. So maybe someday that'll be awesome. The clasp again, the lobster clasp are really easy to connect here, like so. This would look so much better without the strap, of course, but you can see how the gold chain would look. And I think that's just another option that you could use. Another thing I wanted to show you is these two items that come with it. Look how nicely it fits. This is in the older model, so it's certainly going to fit in the newer model. It fits in there so nicely. Now because this is the canvas, it has such nice give. There's certainly room to add my phone and even other items. So I can add in here a little bit of makeup and the tissues and things like that. And it zips up no problem. So I think that looks fun. So if you even have a small pochette, this chain on it would look beautiful with that also. So if you're just running in and out of the store, then that would work. But since phones are bigger and my phone doesn't fit in the smaller pochette, I'm just using that for keys or other items. So wanted to show you that. I'm trying to think. There are a few other reviews on this bag. It's worth checking out. Never want you to spend what you don't have, but I know I'm going to get a ton of use out of this, and I'm really liking the special edition, although had it been available with just the canvas but with the red interior so that I could have the red wallet, then I probably would have opted for that just for safety reasons. Safety in that, you know, I don't have to worry about the chipping and things like that. But I really did want this red, so that stood out for me. And it's a bit of a conversational starter, I'll tell you that. Also, there are a lot of different styles coming out, so I'm thinking this is getting to be a pretty popular type of bag. They have an owl face on it, which is adorable. They have, which is really hard to find, I'm understanding, the leopard print, where you see some monogram on top, and down here it's the leopard. It's really, really nice. And then you can get this in the Damier Azure, which is what my friend Jackie has, and it's beautiful with that pink interior. And she's a pink person, I'm a red person, so we each got what we needed or wanted, so that was pretty neat. Anyway, for the persons that requested this, thank you for doing so. I hope this was helpful, and it's just nice talking to you about all these things that we like. So I do appreciate your comments. If you're not hearing back from me, I promise it's been either I couldn't get to it on the computer I was in, or I was under a certain email and I was just, anyway, it's complicated, or I am ditzy. I'll accept that. I'm not trying to ignore you. And then sometimes it won't let me respond. So just know that. And just any of the kind words. I mean, just last night I'd had another email that wasn't very pleasant, and I was just coping with it. And then one of the YouTubers commented, and it was such a nice comment. It elevated me so much. And I just thought, wow, this is good. And it was like, this other thing shouldn't even matter. I don't need to be focusing on that. There's so much good. So thanks for bringing the good in my life. And I hope you're doing well. Sorry about the lighting. I'm trying to avoid the glare that's on my glasses and finding a good place. And one thing about my home is it has decent lighting at certain times of the day, but nothing consistent. And anyway, so I need to work on that. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day. Take care. Bye.